Thank you.
Rahul, congratulations on that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful record.
Thanks, Chandra. Thank you very much, and thanks for this. It was you guys do really know how to put up a show.
It's absolutely terrific, and we're really delighted and privileged to have you.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here. I think it's a privilege to be here amongst all of you, and I'm really looking forward to this interaction and this session.
Terrific. I was lucky enough to be there in 1996 at Lord's when you made your debut and scored those wonderful 95 runs. Little did I know that I'd have a chance to talk to you on stage when you just announced your retirement.
Yeah, I think Chandra, you'll have to jog my memory. My memory is not very good. 15 years is a long time for me, so maybe you remember more of that than I do. I've been around a long time. I've forgotten a lot of it.
So don't worry, I'm not going to quiz you on the 95.
Please don't.
But tell me, how does it feel? It's 17 years almost. It's more than 16 years. How does it feel to you to just announce the retirement after such a long time?
I think, firstly, I think it was, for me to play for India, and just going back to 96, if I may, to be able to walk out at Lord's that day and to play for India was a dream come true. My earliest memories, of any sport or of playing anything have been of cricket. I grew up and for some reason I was just obsessed with the game, and I dreamt of sort of playing for India and being able to represent my country, and my father loved the game and he sort of followed the game. And I heard of all these great grounds and these great players from him, and he talked to me a lot about it when we were kids growing up, and I'd keep pestering him to either talk to me about cricket or throw cricket balls at me. So for me to be able to do that and to be able to sort of play for India, and it took me a bit of time. I mean, when I think about it, I was 23 by then. I had played 5 or 6 years of sort of domestic cricket. I had played a lot of under-19 cricket, and in some ways it was, it was just a huge dream for a young kid to be able to sort of achieve that and to be able to play at Lord's and walk out that day. When I look back on it sort of 16, 17 years later, and I look at my career, the decision to retire for me, was obviously in some ways a difficult one, a tough one, because it's, like I said, right from the time I'm a kid, I've been obsessed with this game. It's been everything that, it's been my life, And so from that point of view, it's the only thing I've done. So from that point of view, it was a difficult decision. It's never easy to give up playing for India or to walk away from playing for India, because it's something that you've loved. You sort of spent almost every waking hour thinking about how you can get better, how you can get the team better. But in some ways, it was an easy decision as well, because I just knew deep down in my heart that the time for me was right to move on. I sensed there was a huge sort of young generation of Indian cricketers, young Indian batsmen coming through, who I think needed their time in the sun. I'd had my journey, I'd had the privilege and honor of representing India, representing the Indian fan, representing so many people. And I just knew deep down that, the time was right. And I knew at the end of the Australian tour, I just knew the time was right. I just didn't want to make an emotional decision. I wanted to go back home and sit down and think about it for a month and see if I felt the same way after that. And I did, and, I took it. So yes and no. Yeah, it was difficult, but also very easy.
I'm pretty sure that there are many things that you will miss, but is there anything that you won't miss?
I definitely won't miss airports, traveling the amount that I've done. I won't miss packing up my bags. One of the things I hated about being a cricketer was, having to pack my bags all the time and unpack, repack, airport lounges, hotels. I think maybe some of those long, hard runs, getting up at 5:30 in the morning, going to the gym, maybe some of those things I might not miss.
That's good. See, Rahul, a lot has been written about you, more so in the last 1 week. And different aspects of your personality, your character, your sportsmanship has been brought about.
It's amazing, Chandra. Some of the things that I've read in last week, I didn't even know existed about myself. So it is amazing. It's amazing how when you retire, you just...
But Rahul, I think, some of these pieces are things we can identify with. I mean, the piece that Rohit wrote in The Mint and Ayaz wrote, these things really, and your wife wrote, these things were really wonderful, wonderful pieces. But when I'm a cricket fan, like every other Indian in India, there are definitely 1 billion fans, if not 1 billion cricketers. And I followed your game. And when I reflect about you, while there are many things come to my mind, there is one aspect of you which kind of fascinates me. You see, you have played under a lot of captains. You have captained the team. And then you went back and then you worked for, or you played under juniors. And you played at number 1 slot or number 3 slot, opened the innings, went down the order, done the wicket keeping. I don't know if you're bowled, maybe you're bowled also.
Yeah, I've got Saeed Anwar out and Gary Kirsten out, so I've got a few one-day wickets as well.
So I think, you have, in a sense, always worked towards being a valuable player. I would say, I would even call you the MVP of all times.
Thanks, sir.
Always the most valuable player in the team. If there's one person who is flexible, who can adapt himself, and who is willing to go for whatever the team needs, you seem to have done that. I think some of those times I've read that you probably didn't want to do it. For example, you didn't want to keep wickets. Maybe you were asked to keep wickets, but then you took it upon yourself to do it. Is it something that you consciously developed, or it just happened?
Partly, I think I've always loved being part of a team. I've always loved playing a team sport. I remember growing up in school, and we played. I played cricket. Obviously, I loved playing cricket. But I also loved playing hockey in school. I loved playing hockey. I always tried to be part of the football team, or I was not good enough, but at least the hockey team, I was a pretty good hockey player. And I loved being part of the team. Right from a young age, I enjoyed the fact of being part of a unit, of having a chance to share my success and joy with other people, of connecting with people at a deeper level. I think sport, when you see that kind of success and you face those crushing defeats, I think you share an incredible bond with your teammates. You share friendships, you share a bond. You actually see the real character of people. You see their emotions. It's a fantastic environment, and I love that environment. I love being part of the inter-school hockey team, and I saw, for some reason, I've always been drawn to a team sport. So that in that sense, it sort of came to me. But also, I think when I was in the Indian team, one of the things that I did try to do, like you said, I tried to make myself useful, I guess, in some ways, for want of a better word, in whatever I did. I love the game. I like to stay involved in the game. I used to do a bit of wicket keeping when I was young, and for the only reason was that I thought a wicket keeper was always involved in the game. If you're a wicket keeper, you can never relax because you always have to stay alert every ball, and then I'd go out to bat. So I love that. I love being involved. I love trying to be in the game. I love trying to spend the whole day. I found it really boring sometimes when I had to stand on the boundary line doing nothing. You're sometimes not getting a ball, and I just found fielding sometimes a bit more boring. So I always tried to sort of stay involved in the game and see how I could contribute. The wicket keeping thing for India, it's not that I didn't enjoy doing it. I think I sort of recognized the need and the value for it. I didn't feel at one stage after the 2003 World Cup that I was needed to do it. I thought that India at that stage needed to look for another wicketkeeper batsman. I remember talking to John and Saurav at that stage and saying, look guys, till the 2003 World Cup, I think I'm the right man to do it, and I should do it, and I'll work really hard, and I'll do whatever it needs to be done to try and make a success of it. But after 2003, I just thought that we needed to look elsewhere, and I'm glad that they did after a year or so, and we found people like Dhoni. But yeah, I think, being part of a team for me has always been something that I've cherished and something that I'll really miss. I think if there's one thing that I'll miss when I leave the game and that I've left it is being part of that unit.